Time having arrived, I call the meeting of the school committee to order for today, Tuesday, June 2nd, and it's approximately 7:10 p.m. If you could just please rise and help us salute our beautiful flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, committee members and guests in the room, welcome to the school committee meeting. Just a couple little things here. This is the agenda that we will be discussing today. Additionally, the meeting is broadcast via television on Comcast Channel 8 and 1071 HD, and it's also on YouTube on the Brockton Channels. Before I go into the hearing of visitors, let me establish a quorum. Ms. Centeio, are you here?
Here.
Ms. Oliver?
Here.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Here.
Ms. Azak?
Here.
Mr. Pina?
Here.
Mr. Gomes?
Here.
And Mr. Sullivan?
Here.
And I am here as well, I think. We have three guests that actually filled out the form for the meeting of visitors. So the first one is Ms. Joyce. She has a long last name that most of us can't pronounce, so Ms. Joyce, I guess we'll do. You got 3 minutes, ma'am, please.
Please cut me off, because I don't have prepared anything. This is just from the heart.
Melinda?
I'm from the class in 1979, in the halls of Brockton High School. Me? I'm sorry.
Almost whispering, so we're gonna try to
Oh,
get
I'm
it use the
sorry.
microphone. Tim, we
Excuse
can't
me.
get you to use the
I'm super
microphone because
nervous.
we can't even hear her in here.
I screw it up all
Mayor.
the time, so don't feel too bad.
Mayor and Chairman, it's a pleasure to be here in front of you and the rest of the school committee. I was raised on the Campello side of Brockton. I am the third generation of an immigrant from Brava, Cape Verde. And my dad was the second generation. His father came from Brava, Cape Verde, and made his home here. And from him, him and his wife had 5 children. My dad was the youngest, and he had 11 children, and there are now 63 immediate descendants from my dad. We didn't know our heritage because people don't understand a lot that back when my dad was growing up, when my grandmother married him, it's a real thing. When she married my grandfather from Cape Verde, she lost her citizenship, and they weren't called immigrants. She was called an alien, and so was he. They worked hard, and they always spoke English in the home, and my father and his siblings weren't allowed to say where their father came from. But he made a great home, and we grew up in Campello. 11 children all came through these halls, and my dad and all 6 of my brothers at some time played Brockton High football. And and we had a wonderful time in the city of Brockton. Only one, actually it's my daughter, is the only one. She purchased a home in the city of Brockton, and she still resides here. But I came here because my dad passed away, and he was almost 98 years old. And he passed away with 63 immediate descendants from him and my mom. Never talked anything but English in the home. I didn't even know until after he passed away. I started looking into my heritage, because at my dad's service, my dad had written a book of his memoirs from World War II, from the city of Brockton. And this is so rich with real heart. I couldn't open it for 2 years until I needed life-saving surgery. And I finally opened it up. I have cried, I have laughed, and I have seen such real emotion and the beauty of this city. Anybody who thinks that Cape Verdeans, Polish, Italian, Irish, that they just arrived, no. Long ago, when my grandfather came in through Ellis Island with his $20 and took a bus to the city of Brockton for Shoe City to get a job in the business. And later on, he would open up a diner in the city of Brockton. My dad would take it over when he got out of the service. And I just want to read you a couple things that I thought were really special from my dad's memoirs that I finally had the courage to read. And these were given to us as a surprise. He gave them to somebody that when he died, they were to give them to his children. And this is my copy, unedited, written by a man in his 70s. And I'm sorry, I put tabs in here trying to. He was talking about the day when he was in Iwo Jima, and they call it JV Day, August 15th, 1945, when the Japanese had stopped and they had taken over the island, and they could open up the wings for the planes to get out and get to the Japanese. Finally, and as you all know, World War II was a tough battle. Well, I hope you do, and if not, you get a little education. But my father served in the hardest hit and the hardest fighters during World War II, 3rd Marine Division, and he was an amazing man. And he starts his memoirs of JV Day, and he talks about his, how the lights went on, because they put them out at night at camp when they could get rest. But they had an interesting group of what they call CBs, because we didn't have an official army. They were the guys coming in that the Marines protected while they built buildings and did the airway strips and anything. But they were also very resourceful, my dad said. It's all in here. And he writes about Brockton, rationing stamps at City Hall. And it's just like, I felt like I was living back in that time. You can't get this stuff in a history book. And I would like to, I wanted to read a few things, but I know I'm gonna run out of my 3 minutes real quick. I wanna read this. This is after he was coming home. He says, "Well, it's still true that my eyes had seen horrors of war. They saw the glories, and I'd trade it all if Hackey Creedon, Frank Capozzi, Charlie Reese, Bobby Butin, Tut Bertossi, Joe Trapino, and Jake Dodero, that were named as they had lost during World War II. And as I told my brothers, that he wouldn't trade it, that experience, for being in the war and fighting to protect our rights for $1 million. He wouldn't trade it. But he also says he couldn't pay me $1 million to do it again. And how people got along, everybody got along. This is about playing together. There is nothing new about people from different places coming and living in the city of Brockton. My grandfather came here in 1904, and it's just nothing new. And if everybody learns to play together, I can see what greatness the city of Brockton can come back if the community unites. And I feel honored. Like my dad, you served in the Navy. Like my grandfather, he had to learn English. He was light-skinned because they were very prejudiced at that time. And I understand exactly how you came here, and I congratulate you on that. And like I tell my children, I'm gonna offer you the same thing. I can kind of guess. I tell they're adult children, very successful, but this is what I told them to live by. When you dream big, you dream bigger. And once you accomplish that dream, you go after the bigger one. Then you dream bigger and you go after that. And I'm gonna kind of take an educated guess here, Mayor, Chairman of the school committee, that you had a dream one day when you sat for 4 years at 16 years old, where you didn't know English, but you were determined, and then you learned it, and immediately you signed up to serve our country. And I want to thank you for doing that. And I'm sure you had even a bigger dream, and you're living it now, and you will bring back the city. I have trust in all these elected officials to unite and bring this city back. It can happen. And I would like to end this with, my father dedicated this to the men that passed away that grew up in his neighborhood. And he writes, for the remainder of my mother's life, her heart had always ached for the Gold Star mothers in the city of Brockton that were our neighbors and friends. She often would remember them when she prayed. They are Mrs. Creedon, mother of Harold Hackey Creedon, Mrs. Emma Capozzi, mother of Frank Capozzi, Mrs. Bertossi, mother of Charles Tutt Bertossi, and Mrs. Tropia, mother of Joe Tropia, Mrs. Todero, mother of Joe Todero. These are all people that fought in World War II that did not make it back here. And he also said, and it's also of these and to my own mother, that I would like to dedicate my story. And you, Mr. Mayor, and the school committee, I would like to you to have this. And I would like it to sit on your desk as a gift to the mayor's office. And I would like to offer my copy. These are unedited, you can't find them anywhere. And this is my copy I personally want to give to you. And please, I did not put a note inside. I want you. My dad did not write it forward. I would like you to write it and put it inside that book as it sits on your desk. Thank you. And please, feel free to put it on the school's website for teachers to use, and the city mayor, and your website, anybody that it lives in this city. I don't live here anymore, but my daughter does. So thank you very much, everybody. Sorry, I was super nervous.
Wow. And I had absolutely nothing and no knowledge of this, by the way, so thank you very much, Ms. Joyce.
That's why I didn't put down what I was coming for.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Jamie Hodges.
Okay. Did it, my bad. Good evening, Chairperson, Mayor Moses Rodriguez, members of the Brockton School Committee, Superintendent Tahiliani, educators, parents, and community members. My name is Jamie Hodges, and I am here on behalf of my nonprofit that me and my sister own, African American Association of Brockton. I would personally like to invite each of you, along with all Brockton Public School students, families, and teachers, and staff, to join us for our 5th annual Juneteenth celebration on next Saturday, June 13th, 2026, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at East Middle School. This event is completely free of charge and is open to all members of the community. Juneteenth commemorates the day when the last enslaved African Americans learned of their freedom more than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was issued. It is a celebration of freedom, resilience, education, culture, and community. Our event will feature live entertainment, cultural performances, educational exhibits, local vendors, children's activities, free food, free backpacks, giveaways, and opportunities for families to come together and celebrate the rich history and contributions of African Americans. As a community, it is important that we continue to educate our young people about our nation's history while celebrating the diversity that makes Brockton such a special city. Juneteenth is not just a celebration of African Americans, it is an opportunity for all residents to learn, connect, and grow together. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We hope to see members of the school committee, school administrators, teachers, students, and families join us on June 13th. Your presence and support help strengthen our community and demonstrate our shared commitment to education, inclusion, and unity. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to celebrating with you next Saturday. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Hodges. Next, we have Jana Lenderholm.
I don't think I need both of these.
I don't think they were working, that's why.
Can you hear me okay? No? Can you now? Can you hear me now? It is green. Okay. Good evening, Mayor Rodriguez and members of the school committee. My name is Janet Landerholm. I'm a resident of Brockton for 64 years and an employee of BPS for over 20. So nervous. I am here this evening to discuss my anticipated separation on June 30th from BPS. Over the past 20 years, there's been a significant instability and turnover in leadership at BPS. During those times, I remained a consistent and reliable presence and resource. My ability to navigate changing leadership, maintain productivity, and support organizational goals during this time demonstrates my commitment, resilience, and dedication to my position. On March 17th, I was informed by the superintendent that my position as executive assistant would be eliminated. I understand the financial realities and budget constraints facing the district. However, I'm asking that reconsideration be given to extend my contract for 6 months so that I may reach the age of 65 and retire. I recently met with the superintendent who denied this request due to funding. This is especially difficult to understand given the district continues to utilize retired staff to perform similar responsibilities that I am fully experienced and qualified for. In addition, there were 2 other positions I was informed of that were also going to be eliminated. However, later they were advertised. One was filled, and the other remains open now. These roles are confidential assistants, a title I previously held prior to my current role. I would have welcomed the opportunity to continue as a confidential assistant, however, was never granted the opportunity. At this time, I can't help but think that the decision to end my contract was made in haste and stemming from concerns I brought forward regarding retaliation, workplace harassment, and discrimination. Currently, there is no safe space to outline these concerns, and therefore I am coming to you directly to ask that you take under advisement the extension of my current contract through this December 31st, 2026. I welcome any further discussions. Thank you and good night.
I believe these are the only speakers we had scheduled, so let's go on to our agenda. Madam Clerk, please take over the agenda.
Thank you. We'll move on to Roman numeral 3, which is the report of the superintendent of schools. A is teaching and learning, and we'll start with my superintendent's update. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us here tonight. So after years of great performances and coming so close, I am pleased to share that the Brockton High School drone team finally soared all the way to a national title in this year's Aerospace Robotics Competition National Championship at St. Anselm in New Hampshire. This title reflects a sustained commitment to excellence by our students and their adult advisors. They've made it to the finals all 3 years, but this year marks the first time they've come out on top, which means they've achieved excellence in construction of their drones, as well as programming and piloting them through rigorous challenges judged by military and aerospace experts. Again, we are so very proud of them, and please join me again in congratulating. Back in the fall, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education reached out to our bilingual department to see if our BHS Multilingual Council, who were awarded with the inaugural David Valade Award for Community Service, wanted to take over the Nuestro Puente newsletter that the Office of Language Acquisition puts out quarterly. Since the answer was an enthusiastic yes, students identified that they wanted to share with educators from across the state, divided into teams to write their articles, gathered photos to go along with the article, conducted peer revision of their articles, and got all the necessary documentation required by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education for inclusion in their newsletter. They highlighted all the incredible work the council does, like welcoming newcomer students, the Language Ambassador Program, our multicultural fair, and homework help sessions, and more. It was really exciting to see them having written the newsletter. Last week, the Hancock and Baker schools both unveiled their new playground communication boards, which, as you may remember from our last committee meeting, started as an idea by Downey parents Chris and Kayla Curran, just for the Downey, but have now spread to elementary schools throughout our city. Thank you again to Chris and Kayla for kickstarting the fundraising effort, and also to the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation for Autism for helping make our playgrounds as inclusive as they can be for students of all abilities. Congratulations to all of our middle school students who followed up an amazing performance in the fall mock trial with yet another incredible effort as part of the mock appeal at Brockton District Court last month. This was thanks to our ongoing partnership with Discovering Justice, which facilitates not only the opportunity for students to argue cases in front of real judges inside real courtrooms, but also connects our students with working attorneys and legal experts who help them craft their cases and learn more about the justice system. I also want to note that this go-around marked the first time that students from the Davis took part, so I want to offer a special congratulations to Davis students and educators for joining in the fun. We are very much looking forward to celebrating our inaugural graduating class from Promise in just a couple of days, but 9 of our Promise seniors got a head start on the festivities in more ways than one. They walked the stage at Quincy College's commencement last week after earning their associate's degrees even before they've earned their high school diplomas, thanks to their incredible work in our early college program. Congratulations to each of our double graduates. I was so proud to attend the ceremony along with Deputy Superintendent Walder, Dr. Silva from Promise, and also our early college director, Sean Boone, and cheer on our students. And we also have a lot of great news and developments coming up in early college for next year that I will update you on at our next meeting. Congratulations as well to all of our Brockton High School transition to work graduates. They spent 8 weeks working with their partner organization, JVS Transition, to learn valuable vocational skills while working at the YMCA. This program is an essential way for students with disabilities to build skills, confidence, and connections that help them launch careers after high schools. Congratulations to 2 of our educators, the Brookfields' Anna Del Pico and the Gilmores' Hannah Willant, who will be both traveling to the United Kingdom this summer to take part in National Grid's Energy Literacy Fellowship. The week-long fellowship brings together outstanding teachers from the US and UK to explore innovative ways of teaching energy, sustainability, and safety. We know they will represent us well, and we can't wait for them to bring back what they learn and share it with their students. Congratulations again to these educators for earning this amazing opportunity. And again, I'll keep ending with this until the end of the school year. Summer is getting closer and closer, so again, I wanted to offer just another reminder that registration is open for our community school summer programs. You can register online by visiting brocktoncommunityschools.com, and you can view the entire summer catalog at bpsma.org/summer catalog. Thank you.
Go ahead, Ms. Centeo.
It's not a question, this is just a question. Well, I guess a question for you. Like, as we close out the year, like, what are you most, like, proud of as from last year? Well, not from September to now. I'm sure there's been many moments, but I figure since we have our students here, it'll be nice for them to hear directly from you areas or accomplishment as a district that you did that you're proud of.
That is a big question because there is a lot that I'm really proud of. I'm really excited to be a part of the Brockton community because the students are amazing, the educators are amazing, and I know we've been through really tough times, but I think that the reason I do these superintendent updates to highlight all of the amazing things and to elevate all of the amazing things happening around the district is because it really is just such a tremendous district with so many incredible things happening. Like our drone team finally persevering and winning that national title, our theater program, there's just always so many great things happening in the district. I think I'm definitely proud that I know there's work to go, but I think we're in a much better place with our finances, which I know is not the most exciting of answers, but I know that is a foundation that we need to build upon. I am very excited about our early college program and all of the work that we're doing there. I actually recently, we had 2 new acceptances to early college programs, and we are expanding the programming next year. And so it's really exciting to have students walk across, a college stage and get their diploma even before they've gotten their high school diploma. I'm also very proud because I feel that we've demonstrated in a lot of different ways, whether it's to the Office of the Inspector General or to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, that we were able to demonstrate progress there. We've sunsetted the MOU. And one thing I would just say about us in Brockton is I know we're all very passionate about the work we do, and we all come at it from very different point of views at some points, and I think we can argue passionately about the best way to achieve success, but I think what is common here is that we all want success for our students and for our overall community. And I think there is something to be said that after these many hard years, we're still, we've got educators who are still coming and putting in their hardest work. We have our students who are being so successful in so many different areas. And I do hope that we are, that we are putting, sometimes I think it's hard for us to see when we're in the weeds here, but if we pull ourselves up for all that Brockton has achieved over the last few years, I think it's actually something to be really proud of. And I know that others are looking at us and seeing that we are doing amazing work, and I hope that we can, take a moment to recognize that as well, even in the midst of the debates we have about spending of money and how we're doing things better. I just think that, we also need to recognize all that we've accomplished together.
Ms. Oliver.
Thank you. My only question is for the community school, for all the summer programs, every one of them is running, right? There's none of them that we have stopped that's not going to be running, just to make sure the parents are aware. If they're looking for certain programs, activities that's still active, they can still sign up for it.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right, next item, please.
B, items to refer to subcommittee.
Ms. Oliver.
Just a reminder, on the 16th of June, we're going to have the Mental Health and Wellbeing Subcommittee meeting. I just wanted to just make a comment. We have a lot of students that's graduating, and I want them to know that they're never alone. I know a lot of students are going far for college, but I want them to always remember home is here, and if they always need help or somebody to talk to, always reach out. As somebody that has worked in with young adults going to college and a lot of them coming and being inpatient, it's a lot of, changes, being far away. So I just want them to know that we're always going to be here to support you. Don't ever feel alone, especially with mental health. Please get help and also enjoy summer and be healthy. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Pina?
Yeah, through the chair, I request the item be referred to the Facilities Subcommittee. A full review of capital improvement plan and a current capacity model for the all of our schools.
Good? Go ahead, Mr. Rodriguez.
Mr. Pina touched on that on the facilities as the capital improvement plan. Obviously, the meetings that we met with the state, getting an update on some of the projects through our facilities director and other items. The other piece is, I'll confer this with the vice chair. The next accounts committee, I'm recommending that is a committee of the whole. So all the members can have more questions when we review some of those accounts and then other items in certain departments that I want to review. So I'll work with the vice chair on that and make sure that's a committee of the whole. Thank you.
Speaking of Vice Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, is there anything that you want to add, or you're?
No, both of those items, one that Mr. Pina just asked, I'm actually in communication with the superintendent and the director of facilities. I had already made that request to prepare that presentation. So as soon as our next meeting, we'll be looking at dates to do that presentation. And for the accounts review, is that a form of a motion?
No, I'll take it. I'm just asking you if you have any questions or anything else you want to. We're going to make a motion.
No, no questions on that.
Okay. What about Mr. Sullivan? Are you still there?
Oh, I have no questions.
All right. So, Tony, do you want to make that in the form of a motion?
Motion to approve the accounts to a committee of the whole when it's properly scheduled through the vice chair.
Seconded.
A motion has been properly made in second. Ms. Centello?
Yes.
Ms. Oliver?
Just on the motion,
Just
I'm
on the
just
motion.
trying to figure out, haven't we had this conversation like multiple times? Why do we keep going back and forth? What is the reason why we're doing this? I thought we already had, the subcommittee's already set since the beginning, so I'm trying to figure
I
out.
understand that, but once a motion is made and it's properly seconded,
I'm
we gotta
asking
go through.
Mr. Rodriguez, what is the reason why we're putting it back on the table to make it a committee of whole?
You can answer if you want to, but you don't have to.
I can answer. I think it's not a motion
I don't
to
think
make
she
it
would like
committee
my
of the
answer.
whole.
No, go ahead. Let me hear what it, Gomes. Mr. Gomes, go ahead.
Let me make sure I'm also on the same page. It's just to have the next meeting as a committee of the whole. We're not making a committee of the whole.
Just the next
Correct.
meeting.
Just the next meeting?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
That's why I
Yeah.
wanted clarification.
Okay. Mr. Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's to review certain accounts relative to the school district.
Oh, I got you. I'm just asking you for your vote.
Yeah, yes.
Ms. Isaac.
Yes.
Mr. Pina.
Yes.
Mr. Gomes.
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan.
Yes.
And it will be done as such. Anything else that we want to send to subcommittee? If not, next item, please.
Thank you. Roman numeral 4 is the consent agenda.
Are there anything from this consent agenda that we want to pull out of the consent agenda? Then I would like to entertain a motion that we,
A motion to consent agenda A, B, C, and D.
Madam, second?
Second.
Yes.
Go ahead, ma'am. You can read it before we vote.
Item A is approval of Facilities Usage and Planning Subcommittee meeting minutes from May 5th, 2026. B is the approval of the regular school committee meeting minutes from May 5th, 2026. C is acceptance of donation to the Dr. William H. Arnone School. And D is approval of field trip Ashfield Middle School to Plymouth, Massachusetts.
All right, motion was properly made in second and in red. Ms. Centeo?
Yes.
Ms. Azak? Oh, Ms. Azak?
Yes.
Ms. Oliver?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Pina?
Yes.
Mr. Gomes?
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
7 in the affirmative. Next item, please.
Roman numeral 5 is unfinished business. The first item is a vote to accept the bid review subcommittee meeting from June 2nd, 2026.
Anyone would you like to make, go ahead, Mr. Rodriguez.
Earlier this evening, we conducted the bid review regarding the IGA Collective Dual Enrollment Partnership for school FY 25-26 with our college enrollment through Bridgewater State University in the amount of $150,000, Massasoit Community College $50,000, University of Massachusetts Dartmouth $125,000, and Quincy College $450,000, which was unanimously approved. So we're moving it forward to the full committee for final approval and a vote. Motion to approve bid review meeting from Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026, into record.
Seconded.
A motion has been properly made in second. Ms. Centeo?
Yes.
Ms. Oliver?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Hazak?
Yes.
Mr. Pina?
Yes.
Mr. Gomes?
Yes.
And Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
7 in the affirmative. Next item, please.
The next item is to vote to accept the use of $7,286,530.87 of net school spending carryover funds to prepay out-of-district private, residential, and collaborative tuition as discussed at Finance Review Subcommittee meeting on May 14th, 2026.
Any discussions on that before we go to a vote? I would like to entertain a,
Motion to, as superintendent stated.
that's the best way to do it.
Second.
It's motion on whatever she said. Ms. Centeo?
Yes.
Ms. Oliver?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Hazak?
Yes.
Mr. Pina?
Yes.
Mr. Gomes?
Yes.
And Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
7 in the affirmative. Next item, please.
Vote to transfer $96,000 of FY27 net school spending budget request to non-net school spending budget request for lease of Foster Street as discussed at Finance Review Subcommittee meeting May 14th, 2026. This was never voted upon, but it was discussed and requested by the committee, so I wanted to put it here in case you wanted to switch this over from the non-net request to the net the net request to the non-net request. It was brought up at that meeting that a lease that has been over 3 years is supposed to be a non-net expenditure. So it had been brought up, should it be under the non-net school spending request? And so we have a couple of options to do that now and put that into the request that goes to the city council. However, as I know you all know, it also does get rectified at the end of your report, through the end of your report process. So it truly is the will of the committee.
Ms. Hazak?
On that item, just a little bit of clarification. Is this the triple net, the 96,000? Is that what we pay for the year for the lease?
For Foster Street.
I thought it was more than that.
It was more than that because it included other items in it, because we leased the postage machine and things like that. So the 96 is just for Foster Street. It's paid in quarterly payments.
And I know this isn't facilities, but are we still renewing that on a yearly basis? I know at one point every June we were renewing the contract, given we were looking for spaces. Okay, I
Yes,
just wanted to make
that
sure.
is my understanding at this
Okay.
point, yes.
All right, for some reason, I thought it was a lot more than the 96 for the triple net. Thank you.
Any additional questions?
Make a motion to accept the transfer of $96,000 to FY27 net school spending budget request to non-net school spending budget request for the lease of Foster Street, as discussed in the meeting of May 14th, 2026.
Second.
A motion has been properly made in second. Ms. Centello.
Yes.
Say Zach. Why do I keep
Switch
going?
my seats, Chair.
Yeah, I think you need to do
I
that.
don't know, my hair's down, her hair's up.
Ms. Oliver.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Now, Ms. Isaac.
Yes.
Mr. Pina.
Yes.
Mr. Gomes.
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan.
Yes.
7 in the affirmative. Okay, Ms. Oliver.
Point of information.
Go right ahead, sir.
For the next agenda item, that this item hasn't come out of committee, and I'm confused or trying to understand how an item that hasn't been voted out of committee is on the agenda.
Mr. Gomes, do you want to take that?
Yes. I checked with the attorneys. We can actually put it on the regular agenda. And also, Mr. Pina, you and I had discussed, I did mention to you that you mentioned that some of the family members wanted to come and speak. And I made the recommendation, and I mentioned that I would put it on the regular agenda so they could speak during hearing of visitors, and we can continue the conversation.
I make a motion to postpone this item and refer it back to the Facilities Subcommittee.
Second.
A motion has been properly made in second to refer this item back to the Facility Committee. Ms. Centello.
No.
Ms. Oliver.
No.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Hazak.
On that motion, there were some recommendations made at that meeting. Were they met? There was supposed to be field visits and a few other items were on that list. Were they met?
It's in the minutes.
Just making, I just wanted to make sure. Okay, then I'm a no.
Mr. Pina.
No.
No, no.
But wait, back up,
Oh, I'm sorry.
back up.
I'm a yes to postpone it. I apologize. Yes to
Yes.
postpone.
Mr. Gomes.
No.
Sorry.
Mr. Sullivan.
Yes.
Yes to postpone? Is that what you just said? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right, it's postponed for the,
Can I speak on the motion?
please do.
I am sorry, because
Okay, hold on.
this
hold on.
is incredible. And Mr. Sullivan, the fact that you were one that's been the biggest cheerleader to get this done, and you have not been present for how long, and you came 2 meetings now to basically vote certain way. It is unacceptable. It is mind-blowing, the fact that we have not heard from you for months, and now you're coming to vote against something that you were preaching, that I got attacked on social media by you and Mrs. Sullivan, and this is the game we're playing? This is unacceptable. I don't understand the delay, because everything has been sent via email. People has been offered to go have those walks. I don't know, since January, nobody has participated. Ms. Centello has done it. So I don't know what game is being played. I don't know the hypocrisy that's being done. But this got to stop, because if you guys want to play this game, we can play this game, because I don't know who's in charge. But whoever's trying to think that they are the chief of this committee or the god of this committee needs to knock it off, because we're not playing this game and we're not doing this anymore.
Chair, I would like to speak as well.
Ms. Centello.
I guess I'm just going to be speaking to you guys, students. I hope you guys are seeing the school committee members. Some of them has been here for longer than I, so, right? I only started from January, and from January to today, all of us had an opportunity to talk to our lawyers, ask the hard questions. We had an opportunity to go to the Boys and Girls Club, which I did. I also had an opportunity to speak with Derek to ask more questions. So I'm not sure. I feel like at this point, guys, they are playing they don't want to make that decision. And why my peers that sit in here, adults, we're all adults, right? They don't want to do it. So I want you guys to start thinking about this. When you guys go home, election year will be coming up. And that is when you guys can talk to your parents to say, let's not vote for
Point of
this or this person because of
Better
this
go on.
decision. This is when you guys have your voice.
Chair.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah.
She had the floor, and she can speak her
Yeah, I
mind
can
if she
also-
wants to, but go right ahead.
I just want to ensure that we are fully understanding that I am not against this action, that I believe that the tradition and the history of that field is more important, and that the family, as well as the alumni, also should have the opportunity to come before us and have that conversation. I have not walked the field. I have gone to the Boys and Girls Club, but I have not walked the field. I have not seen where everything is going to be laid out. The family had a concern about the Eagles, about any continued use of the field, and also what the ramifications of this building would mean. So therefore, I will continue to ensure that every every I is dotted and T is crossed, to ensure that once we do send this over and approve this easement, that all of my concerns are laid to rest.
Chair,
Well,
should I have the
first and
floor?
foremost, you don't get to approve the easement. You get to authorize the approval of the easement. The city actually approves the easement. So let's just make sure that we get that right. But at the same time, I don't want to, I respect the vote of the committee. But I think Ms. Oliver is absolutely right. If the committee doesn't want to do this, I think we have to be man enough and women enough to just to say, no, we don't want this project, and call it quits, because it's not fair for a group of children to come here and sit here and listen to us basically, I'm not going to say play games, but keep on dragging this thing around, dragging it around. If a decision of the committee, and it's the majority of the votes that count, this is America. Unfortunately, this is the way things work at times. But if the committee as a whole decides that we're not going to do this, I think we owe it to the taxpayers and the children of this community to come out and say, we don't want the project, so that it could get moved somewhere else, or some other things can get done. But we can't continue to do this, because I think it's becoming somewhat embarrassing for the entire city when there's a proposal to build something that's good for this community, that this community needs, especially the middle section of the city, and for us to continue to delay this in a way that just kind of makes us look a little foolish, to be honest with you. Either, we decide it's good for the city, let's move forward. It's bad for the city, let's stop it. But I honestly, in my honest opinion, I think we need to stop this. It's gone long enough. I mean, I started this over 6 years ago when I was in the mayor's office after Bill Carpenter, and we're still here 6 years later talking about this whole thing. But I'm just saying, I'm actually, as the chair of this committee, I think I'm going to put my foot down. Next month when we come here, we're going to make a final decision, yay or nay, because enough is enough. I don't want to be, I don't want us to sit here and be dragged around and be pulled in different directions and stuff, because it's not very productive. Go ahead, did you want to say?
I'm glad you brought up that it started six years ago, and I believe during that time period, from my understanding, is that it was a turf field that we were going to get out of that as well. And I believe you were the one that negotiated that. So I think that would be a step in the right direction, and to ensure that that field is never named anything other than what it is, and that it's able to be used as a multi-use field. And the way to do that is to ensure that there's a turf field there. And I think the family and the alumni would be much happier with that going forward.
Thank you. Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you. this isn't being delayed that the project is not going to be moved forward. As an original member of the Boys and Girls Club, when it first opened, this was supported unanimously by the committee, and I support it, and I still support it. But there's certain things that you have to follow by law. You can't give and take and offer something, and there's need to be guaranteed. There's a cost to this project, and there's a cost to the taxpayers. There's certain things that need to be ironed out before it moves forward, including that the school department won't be charged millions of dollars, as the city has always done, that's took money out of educating you in the classroom for a project. This will be taken up, and the will of the committee will deem if this is something that's going to be viable for the city. So this isn't something that's saying at this moment that it's a no. That do not take that into consideration, that this is not going to happen. So people have some concerns. The last meeting, it's in the minutes. I mean, some members just need to read it and quite understand what was agreed upon. But when you have a new member that hasn't fully walked the field where it's lined up to see it was, Mr. Derek Heim was there, other members, but that's just what has to happen. We're gonna end up letting the new member walk the field and do what he has to do, and then we'll just take it up. So, but Mr. Mayor, I would like to just say that we can move forward on the next agenda item.
Hold on, let me just take a quick reset and let these kids walk out. Ms. Oliver, did you want to comment on, I think you had
Yes, I
your
just
hand
had,
up.
basically the fact that only certain members are getting calls from the Keat family. I think we're all part of the agreement that it is, that the field belongs under the school committee, and I'm just wondering if the Keat family can please call the rest of us, because we would love to have a conversation. And I think that Attorney Mello, I do appreciate all the work you've done. I appreciate the email you've sent. I think you outlined every question that we had. You had answers for it, and I think that it was just basically, I don't know, people not getting the emails, not reading what's going on, but every question that was asked last meeting was answered in our emails. So I don't know what is going on, but I think that the Keat family needs to call the rest of us, because only certain individuals are getting our phone calls, because my phone hasn't rang. So I need to get a call too, because I think we're all part of this committee. I don't understand why certain individuals are not getting the phone calls and not being told. So
Well, I
it's
haven't
been
got a
happening for
call
6
either.
years or 12 years. I understand when I first got here, this was thrown in my face, right? And I had to ask the question. I basically got educated on, and I asked all the old members about certain questions that I had, and it was answered. But individual had since January to go walk the field, and I'm just trying to figure out why hasn't that been done. Ms. Centeo has done. Ms. Centeo has spoken to both members, both team, and it's just frustrating that we continue to do this. And basically, it is summertime, and we're trying to help our students and our, especially the children of Brockton, with the gun violence, to have a safe space for them to go to, and this is what we're doing right now.
Mr. Gomes, you wanted to say something?
Yes, finally. Can you guys hear me?
No.
Huh? What did you say?
Can we hear it? Yes, we can.
Okay. First of all, this project will benefit our kids, our students, the kids of Brockton. For any other ideas that we have out there, this is the benefit that we will get out of this project. Now, through the chair, I would like to address a few things. Mr. Pina, you have email documents, you have the
Order, I don't
attachment, you
believe
have
he's supposed to address me, he's supposed to address the chair.
through the chair.
You said through the chair, so.
No, he didn't.
Through the chair, I have the floor, please. You've all been provided documentations. This is the most information that we've gotten out of this project since I joined this committee. You have a full letter with explaining a lot of questions, a lot of things that could happen, what could happen, how we were doing certain things. You even have, people had concerns about the culvert, and they don't want the city to charge it back to us. You have documentation saying this, once we give that piece of that small piece for easement access, it's with the city. Like the mayor just said, they take it from there. they do the remaining step of the process. We've been talking about this for so long. I told you guys at the last meeting, and I called. I said you can reach out to the attorneys if you have any questions. Peter Mello has been working on this. If you have any questions, reach out. He can reach out to you. He can answer any questions. I spoke through the chair with Member Pina, and he said he was comfortable with, moving forward even without doing a site tour. And now hearing all these other things, the additional things. We spoke about the family coming and talking. That's one of the reasons I was like, let's put it on the regular agenda. You guys are incredible, man. We cannot do anything at this rate. We were talking about moving things and crossing the T's. Yes, we're getting all the information. We're answering all the questions. And additionally, the agenda went out last week, end of last week. To wait until today to say, oh, let's move it to a different thing, knowing that you had reached out, we spoke, and we addressed, as I said, we can do on a regular meeting. I even recommended have the family reach out to this committee. They can formally write, call, whatever the case is, and they can come in front of us and address us. And you assured me, yeah, they're eager to do that. They would do that. I haven't seen anything. Man, like we're pulling left and right. I had our attorney draft all these documents, checking everything, checking for the covert, that we're not going to be liable for any of it. We're not going to be liable for the work, checking the best way that we can move this forward because it's for the kids at the end of the day. And we're still going to have the remaining piece of land to build the field. Like, we cannot just sit here, going back and forth and chatting and saying, oh, yeah, we're, doing all this. It's for the kids. It's for, man, we're spending money on legal fees. We're going back. What else? What more do you want? You have questions, reach out to the attorney. He can answer the questions. We've tried to look at everything and make sure we're doing this, legally. We're doing it well, legally, first of all. And then also we're doing it well for the youth that we have. Like, man, we've been carrying this cross for some time now. It's time we make a decision. Like, we're adults. We need to make a decision. And I'm gonna be honest. It's okay if people want to vote no if they don't feel comfortable. But we've been lingering for years. We need to make a decision, let them know where we stand. If we're not giving them that space to build, we should let them know. And if we are, and if we want to serve the kids, we should then, allow this to move forward. Thank you, Jim.
Well, thank you. I'm going to make sure that this is back on the agenda on the 16th, and that's the vote that we're going to take. Either we move forward or we just basically disregard the project altogether, because we cannot continue to do this. On the 16th, the vote will be yes, move forward, no, just kill it and call it quits. That way we can say that we killed the project and that's the end of it. Because we cannot continue to do this. I mean, to sit here and looking at these kids that basically came here to look at this body to say, help us move forward with this particular project, I think we're doing a little injustice to these kids. Go ahead, Mr. Rodriguez.
This is factual information. This isn't something that's drafted up, or that piece of property was landlocked. It should have never been landlocked to begin with. And those are the concerns that I brought, that it shouldn't even be a vote of this committee to give up that parcel of land for an easement access for the city to approve it. It should have been carved out with the access already there. And the plot plan is still carved out improperly because it precludes us from the park on the corner of Warren Avenue and Belmont. So if that plan can be adjusted, there is no vote. They have their right of way. But the city did that through the former administration to protect this body, because the committee was promised, and I'm gonna put this on record, a large amount of donation in the millions of dollars to do a turf field. So we give up this parcel of land and we get zero. So our kids still lose. I mean, we have 16,000. They have probably 200 or 300 kids there. I think we service more kids than there. Remember, our kids go there when school lets out. We dealt with this, not this committee, with the Campanelli Stadium, where the school committee gave up all that land and our athletic department took a big hit, and they don't have a facility to practice, up into including our baseball team that still deals with the nonsense that's going over there with that management, not being able to utilize that stadium to play, and the school department spending thousands of dollars to upkeep a property that it's not really under our control. Up until including last year, we got stiffed in 25 grand because of a concert with parking fees. And the school department, since the onset of that property, has never collected a dime. And that was in the contract, that the school department's supposed to get fees from parking, and school's never gotten that. Up until including the school committee back then was promised that you give up this land so we can build a stadium, we'll turf Marciano Stadium. But guess who ate that? The taxpayers. So do you think it's fair? Yeah, I do have a text message from an elected official. No donation, no deal. And that's from a city council, but I won't say where he is. And I'll yield on that if we can move on to other business.
Anyone else? All right. When is the next Facilities Committee meeting? Go ahead.
Go to Facilities Committee.
When is the next Facility Committee meeting?
Vice Chair needs to schedule that.
Mr. Vice Chair, are you
Don't have
there?
one scheduled right now.
The what?
As of right now, we don't have one yet scheduled.
All right, sounds like you're dying out there, huh? Is there any way we can schedule a facility
Have a facility subcommittee, put this on there, vet it out.
and then
Yes,
come back?
Open it up to, if the family wants to come and speak, whoever wants to come and speak, let them speak. Let them have their say, and then we go to our regular school and we take a vote on it.
Well, we have an
That's just what it.
we have a school committee meeting on the 16th. Can we schedule a Facilities Committee meeting for sometimes next week?
Yes, we can. I was actually, even if this had gone through, I was planning to do a facilities for the capital improvements and projects update. So
Can we focus on this so that we can get as many people to speak on this as need be, so we can get this item off our sheets?
yes, we can.
What is it, Ms. Azak?
I believe there's another subcommittee already scheduled that evening before the meeting.
No, I'm
that's
talking
been-
about doing this not on the same night, so
Oh,
that we
okay.
don't, so that we're not running into.
No, that's fine, because you had mentioned the 16th, and
No, I'm saying
Ms.
there was
Oliver already has a meeting
School committee meeting on
scheduled.
the 16th, but if we schedule a facilities next week on its own, freestanding meeting.
When do we have our budget hearing? Is it next week?
It's Monday, so right after Monday, we can do that. All right. Next,
Before we.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Sorry. I just want to make sure, though, so when that next meeting come up, who is going to be in charge to reach out to all these folks that all of a sudden have an interest, one? Two, I took it upon myself to connect with the Boys and Girls Club to actually went for a tour, so I'm fully prepared to make a decision. So whose responsibility is to make sure that us elected officials, school committee members, are doing our part? I guess it's not a question, I just want to make a statement for the community to see what is really going on.
well, I think that should be the vice chair who chairs that committee to reach out and to the family members or anybody else that needs to come and be guest speakers in that meeting. But like I said, on the 16th, we're going to take a vote. It's going to be a yay or nay vote, and that's the end of it, because we cannot continue to do this. To me, it's embarrassing. It's time-consuming. Probably will get gazillion calls tomorrow regarding this particular issue, and, some of us have other things to do than sit here and talk about this thing over and over again, and it's not going to happen. Madam Clerk, next item, please. I think we're in the new business. Not business, business.
Thank you. So Roman numeral 6 is new business, discussion and potential votes, the first item being the BEF restructure. And if we may invite up, Attorney Spatafor is here to talk about next steps regarding the restructure process.
Okay. Welcome, Counselor.
Good evening, all. So the committee tasked me with looking into the process to formally separate the Brockton Education Fund from the management of the school committee and the school department. So we've reviewed the bylaws. I have a couple suggested steps. The first step is that there needs to be a thorough accounting of the funds in the BEF account, which is currently in the custody and control of the school department. And any funds, just to ensure that all the funds that are in there are properly BEF funds, nothing's gotten in there by accident and is removed. There may be a requirement of a school committee vote if a line item transfer is necessary, but we can bring that to you. The BEF board, as it's currently construed, can accomplish this, so that I would suggest that the board do that as the first step, do an accounting of the funds. The next step would be a new board is selected, ideally through a public application process. That's my suggestion, just given that we would like this to be a fully separate board from the school department. Under the current bylaws, the members of the BEF are allowed to pick the board of directors at their annual meeting. We can do it that way, again, through a public process, but it wouldn't be this committee picking the members of the board. It would be the current board of the BEF, which there is one school committee designee, though they're not a voting representative. And then during that same annual meeting, before the new board takes over, is when I would suggest a new set of bylaws is adopted. So the current board would put forward the new bylaws, select the new board, adopt the new bylaws, and push it off into the new hands of the new board at that point. The ideal parts of the new bylaws would be completely independent from the school committee, as most education funds are in my experience. All of my clients' school districts have education funds and they're run by members of the community. As you all know, any donations to the school department come through this body and go into your general fund. So while often there's missions and goals and ideas about what donations would be used for, that's for this body to decide how those funds are eventually used for, but it would allow for the complete separation. Okay. And then we would have to do some new filing with the state, but again, I'm not sure I'd be involved in that process because there'd be a new board. This would no longer be under the purview of the school department, but I do want to, of course, make sure the new board is set up fully to be able to be effective in their new role. So really, this committee doesn't need to do anything other than superintendents on the board. You can certainly give her your view on what you would like to see happen next. In summary, my suggestion is we do an accounting of the funds, ensure all the funds there are funds that are supposed to be dedicated to the BEF. Then we can work on that public application process for a new board. And similarly, new bylaws. No reason you all can't have input on what those bylaws are, what the mission is of this organization. And of course, when the new board is in there, they can change those bylaws as they see fit. But there's no reason we can't work together to put together that new set of bylaws. So that's my suggestion. I think it can be accomplished probably over 2 to 3 months, depending on how long we put out there for a public application process.
Any questions? Mr.
Yeah.
Pino?
Didn't we already do an accounting of the funds in there, so we're good with that part?
Yes, we have done an accounting of the funds. I think what we may want to do next as part of this process, though, is go through the accounting of the funds and make sure that all of them belong in the BEF. I do wonder if there might be some funds that are better designated as student activity accounts or something different. So I would say that, yes, we have a full accounting of the funds right now, and they've all been updated. But I would say we go through it with this lens of, okay, should this be part of an external group, or is it better as a student activity account?
And obviously, we'll leave that to you, but so the actual committee, BEF, will now make that decision, and none of the administration will be a part of that executive board, correct?
Correct. No administration would be a voting member. I would suggest that typically, we have the school committee still designate a representative as a liaison, and the superintendent often acts as a liaison as well to inform of district initiatives, places we think we would need additional support, because these education funds are instrumental in providing that additional support in areas that our budget is unable to support.
Thank you. Thank you for your work on this as well.
Of course.
Anyone else? Mr. Rodriguez?
Thank you. Do you have like an actual structure of how many members, like how would the selection be and the oversight of the funds? Obviously, we have our schools that use the BEF account, so where are those funds gonna go and how do they extract it? I mean, is that something that's frameworked already, or is it something that when the BEF actually formally meets to kind of restructure?
The BEF itself would need to make those decisions. There is a question of what to do. Do we utilize the funds that are in the account now before we turn over stewardship of the BEF to the new board, or do you leave some seed money, right? That's a discussion I think the current BEF board can have, certainly with the input of the school committee members that are there. So I think the next step is to do that accounting, make sure the funds are all where they're supposed to be, figure out what is left in that account. Because eventually, when the new board is created, you all will have to, since those funds are still with it, this is where the gray area is, still in the custody and control of the school committee. I probably, as an area of insurance, would still want you to vote to move them officially out of the care and custody of the school department into a fully separate BEF account, which their new board would set up. So that the board's going to need to think through are there expenditures we want to make of those funds before we have this separation. To your question about whether or not there's been any draft bylaws, there has not. We can certainly I can work with the board to do that going forward and then bring those draft bylaws back to the committee for discussion. We also have not discussed a number of members as the voting board. Typically under 10 and over 5, and an odd number is what we'd look for at an organization of this size. And we'd want to make sure it's representative of the community to the best extent possible. Putting in place some term limits is always a good idea as well. And it's typically a volunteer position. But, typical with the officers, like you would see of any other organization, a president, a vice president, and a secretary, treasurer.
So what would the oversight of the committee have over the BEF?
None.
So zero?
Zero.
Just a liaison?
Yes, you would accept funds that are gifted to the committee, but beyond that, you would have no oversight.
So let me ask you a quick question. So who's going to decide who becomes a member of this board?
The current BEF board would select the new board. They're the only, under their current bylaws, they're the only ones who have that authority. The current members do.
So how do we assure, these are public funds that we're dealing with here. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. They're a nonprofit organization. There's certain laws
Correct.
that they have to abide by.
Correct.
And so they will now decide to reconstitute a new board without the input of anyone else other than themselves?
Correct. There's really no other way to do it because it does exist as a separate organization. So I don't believe they're public funds, Mayor, to your point.
No, I'm
They're
not
in the
saying
care-
that they're kind of public funds, because if you're a nonprofit organization, there's accountability in those funds.
Correct.
that you
There's
have to account
accountability,
about.
yes.
And currently, it's in the hands of the school committee.
Currently, it's in the hands of the BEF board, which is managed by school department employees who are under the purview of the school committee.
yeah.
So yes, in a way, it is under the care and custody of the school committee, which is, I think, why this was brought up in the first place, as a concern about the oversight of this fund, given that the intent was for it to be a nonprofit assistance fund for the school department that's managed out, which is typically like a booster organization managed outside of the purview of the school committee.
But wouldn't the initial step be setting up the bylaws first,
Yes,
and then basically let the bylaws dictate how we constitute the members of the board?
yes.
so that it's not selected by the same individuals. I mean, my whole issue is when you have an organization that basically selects the members to be on the board, what accountability do you actually have if that's what you're looking for? So there's got to be a process in place, whereas we could say, you know, we need to have certain ethnic, I'm just throwing that out there, a nonprofit organization in the city that represents X, Y, and Z community, elect a member to be on that board. So I think the constitution of the bylaws should be the first step.
Yep.
Before the current board goes on and selects new members on the board, because it's hard to go back and undo the work that's already been done. So I think the initial step needs to be to basically write bylaws and have a bylaws dictate what happens in this organization.
Agreed, Mayor.
And how much money are we talking about that is in the possession of that committee that's overseen by the school committee?
I don't know the answer
We
to
don't know
that. The
that.
superintendent may know, but
Do you know that, ma'am?
what's in the BEF?
How much money are we talking about?
Oh, it's several $100,000, like all cumulatively, it's a couple $100,000.
All right, Mr. Pina, you wanted to?
Yeah, just as a point of clarification, the reason why this was brought up was, this is one of the first things that I had actually seen that we did not have oversight over, yet the superintendent acted as the chair and the
president.
and the president of it. So it was concerning, and I brought that concern to our council, and she agreed. And I think, I don't know if you heard what she said, but the current members, who consist currently of a principal, 2 superintendents, I believe? Well, you and then assistant
Yes, me, an assistant superintendent, a
Principal.
principal.
of the high school.
No,
Oh, I thought Kevin was on there.
no, it's
Okay.
of West Middle
West.
School.
Oh, Carlton, I'm sorry.
Also, we have our director of multilingual learning, our director of professional learning, our deputy superintendent, yes.
And the point that I'm making is to ensure that these funds are, how they're being spent, if we don't have oversight over them and we're not seeing how it's spent, which we weren't, this now allows them to act as they should. And I believe myself that I believe the current board, who we actually hired to do work in the school department, can do just that and appoint, whether it's an advise and consent from us as a body, but I think that they can take care of it from here, separate the funds, because I know that there are a few schools that have their PAC money in there, I believe. And so we need to make sure that each of those schools separate that out so they can spend it through their PAC, not ask the superintendent how to spend their PAC money. So there's where my concern was.
Mr. Rodriguez.
I kind of disagree on a few points that you made, Mr. Peanut. So like when we talk about oversight, there was only one member as a liaison. When I became vice chair, and I included 2 members, so there is more oversight. So committee members are in those meetings. We are just not voting members, where I recommended to make us as voting members. So when we talk about oversight, we are part of those discussions, and where certain committee members, we have liaisons to Save Our Sports and certain, so we do have that involvement in there, but it's just what's the correct process of how we expend, those funds. And I don't want the impression to get out there that the school department is just spending this, wildly, but, those funds go directly to the students, so it's not being spent on anything other than that, so. But, obviously, room for correction, I'll agree with that, but there is a level of oversight when it comes to spending those funds. Thank you.
Joyce, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Attorney Spatafor. One recommendation, if we're going to do the bylaws first, if we can just have the 2 school committee members that are assigned be voting members. It just makes more sense. It was brought to our attention that they weren't voting members. They just were present. But if we can add that to the bylaws when we're drafting them, I think it would help if they're voting members, especially if they're there for oversight. And then, can we schedule a meeting because I serve on that committee. Can we schedule a meeting so we can try to get the ball rolling and see what we need? It's gonna take time to draft the new bylaws, get everything in order. We're already in June. Before you know it, it'll be the end of the year. So if we can at least get this done before the end of the year, so we can start 2027, with a clean slate, ready to go, if not sooner. But if we could, I know you've been working on it, and I do appreciate that. But if we can put a timeline on that. Thank you.
We can schedule a BEF meeting.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, so there's it says discussion and potential vote, so we're not voting on anything on this one, no?
Chair,
Go ahead.
I'd like to make the motion to postpone the second item under new business.
First item.
The second item.
No, I'm saying we still have to deal with the first item.
It was just information.
This information? Okay, so, let's go to the second item then.
Seconded.
Motion has been properly made and second to postpone the second item. Madam, could you just read the item, please?
Yes, use of $1.7 million of circuit breaker funds towards transportation for FY26 and amend previous request to City Council from $4.6 million to $2.9 million.
Go ahead, Sal.
On the motion, thanks for bringing in the information. I didn't get a chance to really dig into this. My only question, I do want this to be postponed, but it's to figure out why did we come to this conclusion, that effect that's going to have on the SPED department. I mean, we were just talking about we need more coaching, we need to, improve our literacy, get more educators. I mean, we already done enough layoffs with paraprofessionals and moving things around. I think that we have, as a school district, have done enough. And I think we need to step back and look exactly why we're doing this proposal and see what it affects, where the money's going to come from. And we need to also figure out, just what is the basically, what is it going to jeopardize, right? More teachers need to be laid off. We have a SPED department that we're trying to make it stronger, and now we're talking about not asking for 4.6, but only to 2.1. I'm trying to figure out where that came from, and I think it's definitely something that we need to discuss more and have one-to-one meetings with you, and basically see what your idea is, what is the mindset for why this even came to be. Because my vote would have been no anyway. I'm letting you know this, because I don't want any more money being taken away from funding a SPED department.
So the reason it was placed on here was so that the committee could weigh in on it. So that absolutely it would be the will of the committee to determine not to do so, and it's just to give me an indication of what you would like to do. And so that is truly why I put it on here, is because then it is the will of the committee. Last year, we did expend over $3 million of our circuit breaker funds. That is why we do have $1.7 million left. And we have, of course, used our circuit breaker funds towards other expenditures that are special education related. So that is the amount that we could potentially put towards transportation for FY26 if we were going to do it as we did last year, which was to put what we could towards transportation. But again, that is the will of this committee. So that's why it's on here, so that y'all can determine whether you want to or not.
So if we put that money towards transportation, basically we're taking it away from the SPED department that we can use. Is that correct?
Correct. That is what we did last year. Yes.
Which we're trying to, it's almost like we're saying one thing and trying to do another thing, and trying to tell educators that we need more educators for our SPED students, especially the most vulnerable students, that we're trying to educate because they have more needs than other students, but we're shortcutting them. And it just needs to come to an end. What are we doing at the end of the day? I get it. We are in a very tight budget. We're getting a budget that we didn't ask for, right? We're already being cut millions of dollars, and now we're trying to take more from the SPED department. That's like something that I take very pride to, the SPED department, because that's what my child depends on, and every other child that has disability. I do not want us to like lose focus on them. I don't want us to forget about them, because they're important, and we need to make sure as much funds we can put in that SPED department, we need to be doing that, not take away.
Go ahead, Mr. Pena.
I wish I'd known the purpose of why it was on there, because I probably wouldn't have made that second, and I would have just voted no. So I will say that I hope that the motion fails so that we can then vote on it, because I do believe that we need to look at what we can do with the funds that we get to spend on the things that we need to do. And when we're making these cuts, fully understand it, but at the same time, these are funds that need to go back to these students in special education. So I fully support the fellow member from Ward 3 and would say that I would forever be a no to spend these funds, the Medicaid funds, any funds that are meant for the students to go anywhere other than to the students. I yield.
Go ahead, Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you. I was taken back when I actually seen this on the agenda. And if we go back, and I specifically asked during our last finance, the CFO, do we have sufficient funds to cover the initial request of 4.6? It was a yes or no question, and publicly, it's on record. We can go back and watch the meeting, and he said yes. He's like, you come in with this I gotcha. It wasn't a I gotcha question. It was yes or no, do we have funds? And he clearly stated on record that he had funds to cover this. So that's where I'm just trying to question of, I'm not in those spaces or those meetings to figure out how this amount actually made it and how it actually came to be placed on the agenda for us to vote on. And this is discussion that we even had in those financial meetings and up into the last legislative session with the committee of not being in support. We supported it last fiscal year, but he was told, I was in that meeting, that don't bank on this the following year, so plan out accordingly, because this is what the cost is. So I'm just trying to like wrap this around, because it's like it continues to happen, and it's just like, when is this going to stop? So I'm just trying to.
So my apologies, I'm the one who asked it to be placed on the agenda so that the school committee could weigh in, because last year it did not come onto the agenda. And I thought what I heard is that the committee wanted to be able to weigh in on this.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Pena.
I appreciate that wholeheartedly, and I think we should weigh in on this, because we need to help you and support you with what you're trying to do. So I appreciate that. I'll just reiterate what I had said, that I hope, I did second this, the motion, but I also hope that this motion fails so that we can then vote on an up and down.
Well, I just want to, go ahead, ma'am.
Provide one more piece of context about the identified amount. The reason it is 1.7 is because that is all we would have available in order to provide it, in order to plug any gaps. So our year-to-date expended for circuit breaker is 5.3 million, and we've already encumbered 1.2, so that only leaves us with 1.7. So that would be utilizing our entire balance. So this committee could certainly decide to use some, none, or all of it, right? So I just thought that the committee wanted to be able to weigh in, and so that's where that number came from, to answer your question.
I just want to make sure, though, that we are aware that this is for FY26. This isn't for FY27. This is for FY26. And if we don't do this, one way or the other, we're not going to be able to close our books. And again, I said this last time that we got together, there's not a safe at City Hall that has $4.6 million in it. I haven't seen it. Maybe there is, I haven't seen it. And we have to pay our bills, one way or the other. And if we don't do this, we're running the risk of really causing some issues in this city and in the school system as well. So we just need to make sure that we keep that in mind, that this could actually jeopardize transportation for next year for the students and the children in this community. So that's what we need to take into account, that if we don't use resources that we have to balance the book, it's going to cost us. I just want to leave it there so that everybody understands. It's not a matter of taking money out of here, putting money out of, in there. The fact is we don't have the dollars that we need to close this out. There's no place to find it. There's no money in city government to do it. So it's up to the adults in this room to figure this stuff out, how we're going to do this. Because it's not on this, on where I'm sitting, I can't see it. So if you guys can come up with a better place for it, please let me know, and I'll show up tomorrow and pick it up. Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I fully appreciate the situation that you're in, but at the same time, I will say that I take offense to the continued fear-mongering that you consistently use on this committee and on this body to say that you're going to hand over the keys, or there's not a safe in your office, or whatever it is that your talking points are for the day. I will say this, that we're here to ensure that the students within the school system are cared for and taken care of, are taught, and these funds in particular are for the special education. Now, I understand the state right now is not doing their part in giving us the proper amount of funds that we need for these unfunded liabilities of transportation with special education. And I believe that the next topic is something that we are going to do. You asked what we could do. I'm putting something forward that we can do. So therefore, in the future, this won't happen. So I respect the fact that you're in a position that you're in, but I take offense to the fact that you're using talking points over and over again and fear-mongering towards us.
Steve, it's not talking points. It's the reality of things. I do not have $4.6 million sitting around. It's not a talking point. And no matter how we twist it, no matter how we turn it, it's not going to turn up. The only other thing that we can actually do is go out and borrow the money and put it on the backs of taxpayers in this community. That's the only thing we can do. I'm not out here to scare anybody. I'm here to tell you the truth. And the truth is we do not have $4.6 million, no matter how we look at it. And we have to close our books at the end of the, when it's required. And the only way we can close the book is to basically borrow from whatever we can borrow to do that. But you got to remember, though, too, that transportation also includes kids that are transported by special ed education, in special ed. So some of that transportation money is for special ed as well. So I just want to make sure that we understand that it's not just, it's not just citywide transportation. It's kids that we're transporting, but we just don't have the resources to do it. Ms. Oliver. Oh, go ahead, Ms. Cynthia, then. Sorry about that.
This is for you, Superintendent. So my question is, if we don't use the circuit breaker this year, is this a use it and lose it type of deal?
No, it would not be a use it or lose it.
And I know we talk about circuit breaker all the time, but I feel like we always have new viewers watching. Can you give us a quick refresher of like, where does this money go and how do we get this money? And like I said, the timeline of when we should be using it. And I also think, can you clarify to the community who is responsible for paying for transportation?
So yes, so transportation to and from school is supposed to be a municipal expense, so a non-net school spending expense. The circuit breaker is a fund that was created in order to support us with the fact that special education costs can be unpredictable. So one student, for example, can, like the change of a different student's needs from year to year, can swing our budget overall. And so circuit breaker was basically the way that the state created in order to ensure that we would have a fund available, which is to your point about, do we use it or lose it? No, the reason we don't lose it is it's because basically it's like a savings account for using in order to support students who are on IEPs, who have specialized needs that may cost a lot of money, and we aren't expecting them from year to year. Our student population changes every year. You can have a student who transfers in, who has significant needs, and that money can be utilized towards that. The circuit breaker fund does come from a reimbursement formula that the state uses regarding our special education services. However, as you may have, I don't know if it's the best way to explain it, sorry, but there are different ways that the state will also provide these funding sources. And so you may have read recently about the fact that first, we're not getting general funds the way we should be, and we're not funded appropriately, but also we are not being funded for transportation appropriately either, because the state is not reimbursing us the full amount that they should be. And so that then creates this, honestly, this ends up being a debate in every single community. So I do want our viewers to know that this is not an uncommon conversation about how to utilize circuit breaker funds, especially in a educational world right now where we are not receiving appropriate reimbursements, appropriate funding for transportation, for special education services. And so it makes so that all districts end up having to try to figure out how to close the gap. I feel like I could have explained that better.
I know, it's just an overview. And then the last question was, again, we know this, but quick refresher, who is responsible to pay for transportation?
It is a city expense.
And since I'm on that, is this I'm new, so I'm gonna pretend like I have not been following the year's issues. Is this our first year that we are using the circuit breaker to pay for transportation?
No. To the mayor's point, however, there are allowable expenses under circuit breaker to be utilized for transportation because we are transporting students with special needs. So they can be utilized, circuit breaker funds can be used for transporting students with disabilities. They could be used for providing services for students with disabilities. So it is an allowable expense, which is why the conversation. And yes, my understanding here in Brockton is that we have been utilizing the circuit breaker in order to fund special education transportation even before I came. I can only speak specifically to last year. I know that we utilized the funds, over $3 million, in order to support. And those were allowable expenses under circuit breaker. The issue becomes, though, then we deplete our circuit breaker and we have less of that savings fund in the case that we have these other expenses that we need.
Go ahead, sir.
Just,
Anna, did you want
just
to say something?
a point of clarity and information. This is prior to my time. The transportation cost, it is what it is. But we don't make those decisions. We should have. Members before myself. The city school department has always been using the circuit breaker. This isn't something that just happened. So, and this is the main reason why I called for an audit, the state auditor to come in and audit the books, not just the school department, but the city side, so we can fix it. Because we owe it to the taxpayers, we have to fix it, but it's unfair that the city's, city councilors, they think it's this $12 million, because that's what they were given, just the 12, but the remainder was being filled with the circuit breaker. So the cost is the cost. We've seen families come here about services. You know, we have students that need to be serviced. Our special education department is one of the biggest ones. Tomorrow, at 10 a.m. at the stadium, and I hope the Enterprise is here, go and see the kids that we service. Special Olympics. Those are where those dollars belong. But at the same time, you know, our hands get tied, and, you know, we have some tough decisions to make. You know, I don't disagree with that, but I can't sit here going on 7 years that it's continuously every single year, and we have a child that's not being serviced when the superintendent and their team can take those dollars and put it directly to those students, because our decision that we make here is to go directly to those students so we can educate them properly. So, and I got to the point in frustration that it's just like, how much more are we gonna bleed? We're letting go of educators, but regardless of what that dollar, I mean, if it was even $100, I would vote no. That's just my feelings towards it, and it's a huge disservice that we would even approve any amount. And with all due respect, Mayor, you inherited this. You inherited this mess, and it's unfair to you that, you know, the common denominator is not really, and I'll stick this, he is not giving you the truth, the actual picture, you know, and we just ask for the transparency and the truth of what it is, because this falls on him. And hopefully something's got to give, and robbing Peter to pay Paul, the public knows that. It's not something that's, it has, we just, you know, we all get emotional, we get into our feelings. You know, we have to work as a team, but it has to come to a stop. It's not even from us, it's coming from the folks at the state level. Something has to give. It really does, because it's really unfair to some of our students that are not getting the proper service or not getting the proper staffing levels in the classroom to support them. It's a huge, huge disservice, and so, I mean, you could read the room. I don't think this is going to support the city in any way. I felt like this body, the city, the residents, and the students was lied to at our last meeting when the individual stated he has the dollars for it. And I think you, as the CEO, the mayor, you need to hold that individual accountable. Do not come to this body and say, yes, I have it, or you're coming with this, I gotcha. You know, he has to tell the truth. And this body, from what's happened, is the only body that's trying to hold that individual accountable. Accountability is across the board. The same way that the voters and the parents hold us accountable, those individuals need to be held accountable. So I'm very, it shouldn't have, I mean, I understand the superintendent, your position putting this here, but we have to fix it. We understand there's problems, there's a fracture, but we just have to, you know, we have to hit the reset button across the board. You know, from our policies, how we operate, oversight, like, we just have to hit that big reset button. It's like, what do we really want in this city? Thank you.
Go ahead, Ms. Oliver.
I don't want to repeat the same thing, but and I don't want to go in my rant, but the problem is that at the end of the day, as a parent, as a school committee member, and as a taxpayer, I think we all deserve accountability from certain individual, transparency. When you come in here and speak in front of us and you say one amount, we're asking you to say there's an amount and there's nothing there, we can have that open conversation, have that dialogue, but with truth, being honest. But when individual comes here and dances around questioning and lies to us in our face, that's the problem I have. I don't want to sit here. He doesn't live free in my head. It's just the fact is I was brought here to do a job. I was basically voted to do a job, and my job is I want accountability and honesty. When you stand in front of us and you give us a number and then go out there and say there's a different number and there's no money, then we can have the dialogue. But at the end of the day, how many times is it gonna basically be at the back of our students? How many times do we have to say, yes, here's the money, sorry kids, we can't do what we need to do? If we're gonna work as a team, then certain individual needs to be honest, and certain individual needs to be held accountable. When the transportation was low budget last budget season, this is what happens. So we need the money to keep funding the transportation. We can't take transportation for kids that needs it. But then we're playing with games like, I do have the money, I don't have the money, the city's broke, what's going on? Let's have that honest conversation, and certain individuals stop attacking us because we want to hold a dialogue that is based on honesty, based on accountability, and based on transparency. Because if we're going to have dialogues based on lies and stories and make up numbers, we're never going to get anywhere, and it's going to be a back and forth between us, the city hall, and the city councils, and a certain individual. Just be honest. If we're having an issue with money, as a taxpayers, we need to know. If there's no money in the bank, let us know, and we can figure it out. But our students can't be paying the cost that there's no money that we're taking from here and putting in the city bank. So we need to figure it out and work as a team. But if we're going to work as a team, certain individual needs to be held accountable. They should not have a position anymore.
Go ahead.
This question for Dr. T again. To be fair, my question is, you mentioned that the circuit breaker can be used for transportation. My question specific is, if that's the case, is the amount that's being asked, is that specifically for students? Is that specifically for transportation for students with disability?
Yes, we would then reclass transportation expenses from the general fund or our non-net expenditure side to the circuit breaker. So yes, we would have to actually go in and reclass it to fall under our circuit breaker, but it could only be, yes, allowable expenses for special. So we couldn't put just regular transportation, like our big yellow buses on circuit breaker. There are confines around what we can charge to our circuit breaker.
So I am understanding correctly. So when we're saying transportation, we're specifically just talking about the special ed department.
Correct.
Transportation.
Now,
Thank
that
you.
isn't the total cost of what it costs us for special education transportation, but that would be the only offset we could provide at this point, because that's the only amount of expense that we have. So last year, we reclassed over $3 million of circuit breaker towards those expenses.
And Superintendent, how much do we spend on special ed transportation, do you know?
Altogether, I actually don't know the exact amount.
But it's in excess of $3 million, would you say?
Yes, we were able to comfortably reclass those expenses.
Tina, go ahead.
Just a quick question for you. So can these funds are meant for special education. Are they able to pay for, say, increase in services for the special education students that we're sending out of district, so possibly keep them in district, then lower the cost of transportation, which the driving force of the special education is the outer district transportation?
Yes, please.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Uh-oh, coming in from the bullpen.
Yes.
Nice.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jamie. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Unified Student Services, and Special Education is one of the departments under the purview of our office. So to answer the question, not really. So let me explain. Let me just back up for 1 minute. Circuit Breaker is a reimbursement program for high-expense students who are eligible under IDEA. So essentially what happens is every year the state says, on average, I'm going to use a number, it costs $20,000 to educate the average student in Massachusetts. So what happens is they do a calculation. They do 4 times foundation, and that becomes, say, $80,000. So any expense over $80,000 that we expend on a placement or a student with expensive auxiliary needs or communication devices, those can all be claimed eligible expenses. So what happens is you'll sometimes hear them talk about the reimbursement rate at 72 or 68 or 75. What happens is we actually don't get reimbursed the total cost. We get reimbursed X percent over 4 times foundation. So if we spend, say, foundation's $80,000 per student, I spend $100,000 on an out-of-district tuition, they reimburse me 30% on the delta between that foundation and the cost of the total tuition. That's out-of-district students set by Operational Service Division. OSD sets the tuition rates. So they're very straightforward. The student goes to this program, here's the code, here's how much it costs, here's your reimbursement at that rate. In-district students are completely different and are claimed by individual service delivery grids. So if they receive X hours of general education, that gets put in at a reimbursement rate of X hours times X amount per hour, right? So there is not a, first of all, placement of students with disabilities, and we hope to see you at the next meeting where we'll do an update of special education programming. Placement decisions are made by a properly constituted team of professionals who say, based on this student's need, this is the least restrictive environment for them to receive their education. So any decision to bring a student back does not lie with administration, does not lie with the family person, it lies with the team talking about what's the best place for that student to receive the education. So if we brought students back, we no longer, now we're educating them in a less restrictive environment, right, to be fair. But at the same time, we're not then recouping money we would have paid out to then come back to us, if that makes sense. It's actually a reimbursement program. And what happens is in June, let's say an expensive student does move in, circuit breaker also allows for extraordinary relief. So if you had an expensive student who moved in at a placement of $300,000 that wasn't a part of your budget development, there is sort of a part of that program that allows you to capture back a part of that reimbursement. So the district has given our expenses and the reimbursement rate, that's where that pool of money then comes from through the reimbursement program the next. Does it make sense? So it's not a one-to-one correlation. So if they move back, we'll then get that money in this way. It gets reclassified based on the service hours and the need of the IEP. So some of our students, to be fair, who are in district, do get some, the district does receive from reimbursement because it costs more to educate that student. Now, the advocacy among the state association is to sort of increase the level of the reimbursement, right? We want to see 100% reimbursement beyond that. We assume a responsibility to educate all students, right? So that's where that 4 times foundation comes in. Roughly 4 times the cost of everybody else is what you're expected to cover locally, but then the state kicks in this other reimbursement model to try to make districts whole. So the flexibility of the district to then apply, for example, in Brockton, we then we write, for example, sort of 6 or 7 million of our tuitions directly into that circuit breaker account. So it's actually going right back, right, to support the students that it was designed to support. But in terms of budgeting, you always sort of leave some room for other potential needs or expenses, if that makes sense. So it's not that you would get the money sort of through moving in and then just give it to, we would still possibly get money back on the cost of actually educating the student. And if they, for example, they need a communication device, that's a claimable expense. So a part of that reimbursement model, they then look at how much are you then spending to transport. So as transportation is a part of a related service, that's where it becomes eligible for reimbursement. That makes sense. But not sort of a student who doesn't have an IEP who takes the general yellow bus, that would not be, to Dr. Tiliani's point, that's not an allowable coverage to apply that money.
Right, and that goes into what I had asked about the unfunded liability. So when we have that unfunded liability that you're talking about, that the state is not reimbursing us for those costs to transport these students out of district, that's where I'm talking if we were to educate them within district, create programs that were as you said, the least
restrictive
environment, would that not then lower the transportation costs and also increase the number of that we're reimbursed? So if we hire X amount of professionals that can then instead of us sending them out to, I think we talked the last time about we're sending some students an hour and a half away, each way, can we give that same service that they're getting an hour and a half away in district? And then that cost of whatever that transportation cost, which is high, being sent out of district, then we don't have to spend that money on that out of district. We then help the city, because it's the city's responsibility to pay that.
Sure. It's always our goal to build responsive in-district programs that meet the needs of our students. I think the reality, and we'll happy to talk more next meeting with our SPED team, leadership team around the reality, we do not always have the ability to meet the needs of some of our very complex and students who have a level of need that exceed our ability. For example, we have students, for example, at Mass Hospital School and other really complicated placements that require, in order to even be transported, a respirator, feeding tube, one-to-one nurse. I mean, we are medically complicated students, or students with really severe or high levels of autism where they're not safe. Or I have students who have such sensory needs that any volume over a certain decibel creates seizures. Right, so I want to be really clear. We're not kids. We believe deeply that kids with disabilities belong in seats next to their typically developing peers in every single one of my classrooms. Right, the reality becomes the needs of some of our students outweigh our ability, which is where those schools then exist. So. I just want to be really careful. Any parents who are listening who have really sort of kids with complex needs, that's where that team process comes in. So yes, our team, and we can actually talk about what might be helpful in our presentation is talk to you a little bit about the students who have returned versus the students who have gone out, because you often only look at a total number, and what you're missing is who those students are. They're not necessarily the same 70 in year one who are the 70 in the next year. Right, kids have moved back and then gone back out. So we always want to keep students in district, but I don't want to create a false illusion that we can somehow do something at a school that then brings back 60 kids. Right, that's just, it's
And
just
I
not.
appreciate that, and I look forward to that conversation and
Sure.
increasing the therapeutic school to making it an actual therapeutic school and not a dumping ground. But I do look forward to that
And we're
conversation.
getting ready to expand our programming offering there. We're
Correct.
offering tuitions in other districts. So our programming is, actually, a lot of other districts have asked to tuition into our programs, right? Because they don't have the
That's our
same
next
capacity.
topic.
School choice.
Yes. Yes, and just to reiterate, thank you so much. And yes, just to reiterate that too, that if we were to bring those students back, then we also have the expenses of educating them as well. And sometimes those expenses are so great, so we would actually lose potentially the circuit breaker reimbursement, any that we get for them going out, but they still would be required potentially door to door within our district. They would require a lot of specialized services and supports and educators that we would have to, so to that point, it is more complicated, and it isn't necessarily a one-to-one or easy even to predict what that cost savings could be, and it may not even, depending on the scale, may not even be a cost savings. So was there a motion or, I'm sorry, I'm lost.
I think the motion was to postpone, because I didn't think everybody knew what was this all about, so I don't know if we were gonna get enough vote to not pass it through and stuff like that, but it depends on Mr. DePina.
No, I just want
On the
to
postpone.
caution us though, and I don't want to use the word fear mongering, Mr. Pina, but I'm going to use fear mongering here for a second. Some of us are working diligently to try to build a high school in this community, and I keep bringing this back up again. We are going to go to the city council, and I say we because it's the school system going to the city council to ask for $2.9 million. If we do not use the circuit breaker, that asking is going to be $4.6 million. Now, we're leaving it up to the city to figure out where to come up with $4.6 million. And if we're going to ask the city, meaning the taxpayers of this community, to come up with $4.6 million, when the time comes for us to put together an asking of the taxpayers to help us build a school, we need to be aware that it's not going to look very good on some members on the city council that we have to convince to be able to vote, just like we vote here to say no, they too vote to say yes, put it on the ballot, no, don't put it on the ballot. And if we don't show a certain level of collaboration and cooperation, I don't see how, and no matter what we say, remember, they each have a vote. And we need to have the plurality of the votes of those members in order to put this thing on the ballot. So I just want to make sure we are aware that, just like I know Tony says this all the time, we have power, they too have power. And they too will be asked to exercise that power to put this asking of the taxpayers on the ballot so we can build a high school in this community. So we need to somehow, the reason why I'm bringing this up is I think I have to be the referee in the middle between the council and the school committee, because I've made it a mission of mine to see to it that we build that high school. But in order for me to do that, I need to make sure that both sides are playing ball, in a sense, as the old saying goes. And if one side is saying, I'm going to hold firm and not do anything to help the cause or help the situation, I don't see how the other side is going to be held to that particular call as well. Go ahead, Ms. Alva.
Last thing, with all due respect, I think every time we come to a vote regarding certain matters about money, you use the Brockton High School rebuild over our head. And it leaves a little bit bad taste in my mouth, because at the end of the day, they vote how they like. They can go on record, on history, that they voted against the new Brockton High. That is on their conscience. But the fact is that, yeah, we can postpone this and have a conversation about it until the certain individual let us know why it was said, yes, we have the 4.6, and now we don't have the 4.6. So we need to basically hold certain individual
Well, that's
to
why I
basically
asked,
speak the
that's why I
truth.
asked it to be postponed so that we can
That's
get to
fine,
the
but
bottom of it.
I think, though, if you're going to postpone it, I want the certain individual to come here.
Then we do.
And be honest, and tell us exactly
And we have to
where
be-
is the money going? What, I need an auditor of the city to really look in the books, especially Schedule 19, to figure it out what happened last administration, because where is the money going? Why is it always on the cost of the students in the school district? Like, that's it. We're going to postpone it, but I want to answer from certain individuals. So you need to speak to your CFO that I want numbers, I want data, I want where the 5% increase went. I need to know before I even give them grace, before we even have the dialogue of respect back and forth, because I hate being lied to. And that's my problem, that I don't like being disrespected and lied in my face. That's my issue right now.
Okay. A motion was properly made in second. Ms. Centello,
Yes.
Ms. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Isaac,
Yes.
Mr. Pina,
No.
Mr. Gomes. Is that a yes? Yeah. And Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
All right, we're going to postpone that. Next item, please.
Yes, the next item
Policy choice.
is discussion and potential vote on policy JFBB, which is school choice. And so that is an enclosure in your packet. And you'll see that in that enclosure, it states that by May 1st of every school year, the administration will determine the number of spaces in each school available to choice students. And that by June 1st of every year, if consideration is being given to withdraw from the provisions of the choice law, a public meeting will be held. We already did that, and we can still then suspend the rules, which is why the other policy adoption is in here, if you so choose, in order to determine what we want to do with school choice.
Make a motion to suspend the rules and take this issue up tonight.
Second.
A motion has been properly made in second. Ms. Centello,
Yes.
Ms. Oliver,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Pina?
Yes.
Gomes?
Said yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Okay. So now,
All right.
go ahead, madam.
So I know there was some discussion because I guess in the past there had been in this exact policy, it actually articulated a cap of 50, but I think since then you all had changed this policy so that you could determine every year. So at this point, you all can discuss if you want a cap or what this number should be.
Yeah, through the chair, we are faced with a lot of different financial constraints, and I fully believe that, I believe in Brockton, and I believe that we're going to build this high school, and I believe that we have some high schools within the city that people want to come to include the Promise, the Champion, and to Brockton High School. We have neighboring communities who are charging their residents high fees to play sports when they're not even in Division I sports. We're in Division I sports, and I think that would be also a very big draw. I look at this as the superintendent has said that our numbers are down from the middle school up to the high school, and I look at this as an avenue where the mayor and the chair challenged us to come up with the money. This is a point where we can, as a body, come up with that money, because each student we get in, I believe the current rate is $8,500. If we allow in 1,000 students, that's $8.5 million. And this discussion that we had with the budget isn't even valid, because those students that come in, we don't pay for their transportation, just like the students we send out of the district, we pay for the transportation going out. That means those other cities will then end up having the issues that we have, having to pay for transportation coming in. I firmly believe in the city of Brockton. I firmly believe in our school system. So I firmly believe that this is a perfect avenue for us to increase our budget in the schools. And for the next year, when we're looking at possible additional cuts that we have to make, I believe that this is a way that we can refrain from making those cuts. And so therefore, I fully support this, and I request and humbly ask for your support as well in this. And I would say that 1,200 with 200 to each, or 100 to each of the Promise and the Champion, and 1,000 to the high school be a part of this enactment as well. I yield.
Ms. Sullivan.
I totally agree with you, but I'm just a little bit concerned with all the budget cut that we have. If we have enough educators, especially 1,000 coming into Brockton High, will there be like a lottery system? How does that work to basically accept students from surrounding neighbors? I just want to make sure that we have the capacity, like we have our own students to educate, right? And I get what the funds and bring it in, but I want to make sure that we are also have educators in those rooms to educate not only our students, but the students that we are inviting to become members of our school district.
Yes.
Yes, Madam Superintendent.
That's a great question. I do believe that we do have the ability to open our doors, and I do think that I hear what you're saying too, because if we're having to make cuts this year, but that being said, if we accept more students in and our October 1st numbers are up next year, then we receive the funding the following year. And you know, I don't know that by opening it up, we will have so many more students that we would not be able to manage, or that the negatives would outweigh the benefits long-term, so.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, because I'm all for it. I think we need more revenue coming in. I just want to make sure that we're not doing a disservice to a student that's currently, we're fighting to put educators in the classroom, right? And we don't want to, basically now, a classroom of 29 is 35, and there's no educators because we're laying them off. So I want to make sure it's kind of balance it out. Yeah, we're getting the funds, but where's the educators? Because everybody's getting hired already. They're going to other school districts. So where are we getting these educators from if we're lacking them?
Yes, understood.
Yeah, but you know, if we don't do this, then next year the pain will even be greater. So even if we have to suffer a little bit where a classroom goes from 29 to 30, 31, at least by next year, the revenue will be there for us to expand what we need to do. So we need to do something. I mean, I honestly believe that a school system like ours should be growing by leaps and bounds, especially with a brand spanking new high school coming up. Here we go with the high school again. Go ahead, Ms. Tay. I'm going to keep saying that until it becomes a reality. It's myself and Mr. Kevin. Are you still up there? Yeah, okay.
What's the current number now? Is it Brockton High? Is the number 50 or what is it?
So from last year, I don't actually remember what cap we sent, but I know that we fell well under it, so it ended up being sort of a moot point. I believe we have 12 students choicing into the district at this point, or into Brockton High.
But I think with our friends from the enterprise sitting right here, that's actually going to, you're typing up, right? You're typing that up to say that we're going to open this up and this message will go out to the other communities that Brockton school system is accepting kids from the outside, you know? I don't hear you typing, but go ahead, type up. And that number should go up beyond that, so it's good for us. Go ahead, Mr. Payne.
Yeah, and I want to,
Were you still going?
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking to the enterprise guy back
Took
there.
over,
I'm sorry.
and which I appreciate. Enterprise, right? Good stuff. The next question that I have, so like, if we're gonna add 200 to, specifically to the champion, right? Is that what?
You said others, right?
champion 100 the promise, 1,000
Right.
high school.
Are we planning to fix that building? Because they don't even have a gym area. So if we're adding more student, what kind of high school experience are we thinking about giving them?
I do wonder if it's possible to just simply remove the cap, and
I think we removed it. That's what I said, no cap.
and not make an actual number. I just don't know that there's a need to have a number. I think if we remove the cap and we see what the numbers are coming in, maybe 1,000 will come and I will regret having said this, and then I'll come to
And
you
then you'll
and say
come back
something
and say,
different.
put a cap on it.
But I think we could simply just not have a cap, and
Yeah.
then we would be able to take other students, we would advertise, the Parent Information Center would be able to support any interested families, and I could keep you all updated. And also, just a reminder too, the team wanted me to remind you that employees also can enroll their children into the Brockton Public Schools too, even if they don't reside in Brockton.
You're good? Go ahead, Mr. Payne.
Yeah, I just also, through the chair, I want to make sure that everybody understands that from my research and what I've heard about the state talking to districts about getting new high schools, repairing schools, all this other stuff, their number one question, and correct me if I'm wrong, is how are you going to support this now that you have it? So if we have a brand-new high school and we don't have enough kids to fill it, then we're not going to have the funds to actually pay for that high school, because it's going to cost more than this high school. So we need to think in the future and be more forward-looking. And hey, I know it's illegal to recruit, but there's a way to recruit, and you just start recruiting some athletes.
Everybody else does it.
That's it. So we need to look at these ways, and we have to think outside the box. And I appreciate the fact that this is on, and again, I'll just end with saying that I hope that you all support it.
So do you want to remove the cap?
Yeah, I will remove the cap as per.
So make that in the form of a motion.
I want to, so we already did that, we did that. I make a motion to accept the, one second, point of information. On that one that was submitted, was there a cap on there, or was there not?
There's not a cap. You all can
Okay,
simply-
so I make a motion to accept the policy as written,
Not a cap.
JFBB, school choice, with no cap.
Second.
On the motion?
No, I have a question. So what is
So
a
on the mo- on the
selection?
motion. That means on the motion.
So how do I ask my question?
Yeah, you're
A
fine.
question on the motion.
Okay, question on the motion. How is the selection process going to be? So if a student wants to go to the champion, for example, they're going to be submitting an application, or they're going to have an opportunity to meet? Because we also want to make sure that that they're going to be the right fit for our schools. I know we need students, but we just don't want to,
So it would be dependent on the school itself, similar to how we do just for even students going from one school to another. It's based on if there's capacity, if there, things like that. So for Brockton High School, it may be different than it is for Champion or for Promise. Promise has an application process, so that would be different.
Thank you for the clarification. I am ready.
You're good? Anybody else? You're good? Claudio, are you? Any questions? Jesus, you're getting worse, man. Okay. A motion has been properly made in second. Ms. Centello, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Oliver?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Azak?
Yes.
Mr. Pina?
Yes.
Mr. Gomes? Is that Yeah? Okay. Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
All right, so now we have absolutely no cap in our systems. Go ahead, Mr. Enterprise Guy, please keep typing, make sure they all come down. Madam Superintendent, next item, please.
Roman numeral 7, school safety and security, update from our police liaison. Nope.
Very good.
I have something that I would like to bring up during new business.
Oh, I'm sorry. Apologies.
On new business, there's nothing left on the new business. So the announcements, maybe?
Well, I would like to discuss 2 items that I would like that that gets placed in the future agenda. Is this the appropriate place
Go
to
right
bring it
ahead.
up? Okay, so I would like to have a discussion about expanding student voice and representation at the school committee meetings. So right now we have a student from Brockton High only. I would like that we expand that to allow a student from the Promise, the Champion, or BVLA to be part of that, to come in and also do a presentation about their schools. Second, I would like for us to request a discussion regarding the possibility of a non-voting parent representative to the school committee. So this request was brought to me by members of the District Parent Advisory Council, who expressed an interest in exploring whether there could be a more formal parent voice connected to the school committee meeting. So I think we should have those discussions. It's going to be a non-voting role, and I hope that we have an opportunity to discuss it a little bit further to see how that will look like. Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Rodriguez.
On those 2 items, those are some of the recommendations we made last year and the year before with the student representation. And on the second item, there's actually legislation pending at the State House that reframes the school committee to have a non-voting member with the parent voice.
That refrains?
Huh?
Refrains, is that what you said?
I can't hear you.
No, you said there's legislation that
No,
refrains?
it's pending at the State House
Oh, that's pending.
to reframe.
Mr. Payne?
Not on the motion to add another item. I had put this through the chair, but within our policies, we have the ability to create a parent advisory council, and I request that the body create a parent advisory council on special education. And with the what we just learned about the special education update coming up, to have this as I believe the policy says that you can have it for a 1-year period for a specific item or issues and so obviously special education. And so this would give what Member Centello was talking about, the parents, the actual ability to have a voice in special education.
But I think you were talking about, in general,
I think that we
right?
have one already for clarification, right? Is there one already? The CPAC.
Correct, and
Yeah.
I went to it.
Yeah, I've been to it. So,
Yep.
I mean, that it's already one. You want to create a separate one, or?
So this, if you look at our policy says that we can make this to for a specific reason, and that specific reason would be to increase the services. So looking at special education, and again, I'll bring back up the therapeutic school and making it into an actual therapeutic school, and having this advisory council to help us do just that. So you would bring in parents, you'd bring in experts from outside, and as a way to help us make those policies and those decisions.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay. We'll put that on the agenda. Okay, any announcements?
Well,
Can we go back to the school police? Can I ask a question, or,
They said no, there was no report.
so I can't ask a question?
No, you can. I think he's still here,
Oh.
behind the camera there. Go ahead.
Is it Mr. Mosley? I can't. Officer Mosley, can you tell me how many officers are on duty on any given day in the last 30 days? On average, can you tell me how many officers are able to conduct traffic duties around elementary schools?
Can you submit those questions to him? Maybe you can come basically prepare for the committee next time when he comes to have
I'm
that?
pretty sure he can answer them.
I don't know, you said he couldn't.
No? He doesn't want to answer them?
Let's see, where we have on shift, I believe like, we try to cover as many as we can. But yeah, if you ask, if you want to know exactly, I would say probably just submit.
Can I ask, can we not pay for 2 lieutenants and take one of those lieutenants off and only have 1 lieutenant? Is that I know that's, I haven't seen the MOU. I don't know what the MOU says, but I don't believe that we should be paying for 2 lieutenants. And currently we are. I understand one is in retirement. Both great guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything bad about them, but I don't think we need to be paying for 2 lieutenants. So I would hope that.
I'm not exactly sure how that got to what it got. That was
You
before my
promoted him.
time. No, I'm saying who gets paid who and where and way. I'm not sure how that got there, so we can find that out.
Like I said, I haven't seen the MOU. I don't know.
Okay. Go ahead, ma'am.
So I don't think Lieutenant Livingston will be with the school police any longer. Am
Yeah,
I
he's now
incorrect?
in the midnight shift at the
I
at
mean,
the
he's
police department.
finishing
Oh,
out.
so we no longer,
Correct.
so now we have nobody.
Well, no, not yet, but it'll be a transition out.
Well,
is
we
my
don't have
understanding.
the other lieutenant because he's he's going out.
Right.
So who's the liaison right now?
Well, right now, they both are in place, but we're working.
But he's not working. Lieutenant Banaka is not working. He is on leave, going out.
And so we have Lieutenant Livingston, and I believe there's going to be a transition plan.
So
For-
currently, we're
for
paying for
who's
2
coming.
lieutenants.
I suppose so, yes, yeah, for the time being, yeah. But I don't think that's the plan for after.
Can we have I guess I'll request the MOU between the city and the schools as to what this looks like, and also add to that we add that to a future agenda to increase the number of school police to 26. I'll just bring that up every chance I get, so.
Oh, he's got a machine at home, I guess, that he prints it. Yeah, okay.
I just want, anybody else?
No, sure.
Just on the topic of the school police, I know, just for the public to understand, there is an ordinance where the lieutenant oversees the school police. But one of the things, Mayor, through you, and I know, the police chief is under your supervision. And this is towards, and I understand, promotion, but just because, there's a relationship that Lieutenant Livingston has created in this school district that overseeing the school police. I think it's a disservice to the students that he's built that relationship to kind of rip them out. And this is nothing, gears toward the chief, but if you look at the promotions, there's certain people that made promotions that went to specialty jobs, not to a shift commander or 2 shifts. And that's across the board. So I think if you can look into that, I wouldn't want to see him leave the school department. He's been here for quite some time. If you can advocate for that to make sure that he stays on board. But if you look deep into that, there's been certain officers that made rank that's gone in certain shifts or wherever. But, you know, obviously it's under the discretion of the police chief. I respect it, but I think that there needs to be a little bit of give and take because he's an asset to us, and it'll be a disservice to see him leave where we've already built that, and then you have somebody retiring, then you're going to put somebody else brand new into that position to kind of build a relationship where Lieutenant Livingston has built that relationship. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Cool. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So under announcements, we can't forget, it's an exciting week. So starting off on Friday at 5 p.m., we're gonna be there for the Brockton Therapeutic Day School, Champion High School, and Brockton Virtual Learning Academy's graduation, which is gonna be held at Brockton High's auditorium. And then on Saturday, we have the Brockton High School graduation over on Marciano Stadium. So congratulations to our graduates. We wish them all best of luck. And then we don't have a meeting before the next major event, but we always have to remember our educators, our staff, and those that are retiring. So there's going to be their celebration on June 11th, their district retirement party. So again, it's just another opportunity to thank those that have been with BPS, and some of them, it's amazing when you listen to some of the retirees that are there and being honored and the amount of years they've put into Brockton Public Schools. So that says a lot. You know, we're not just Brockton Public Schools, it's a family, and so many of them have been here for, I mean, decades. So thank you again for those that have been here, and best of luck on the retirements. So it's the next couple of weeks. We have a lot going on with our schools. So I'm sure we're going to have plenty of announcements, but good luck to our graduates and our retirees. And there'll be much more coming up. Thank you.
Ms. Oliver.
Thank you. I think you took a lot of it out of what I was going to say, but I just wanted to basically congratulate class of 2026. We are extremely proud of you, each one of you, and we cannot wait for you to come back and mentor the younger future boxers. We have a lot of family members that are going to be out on Saturday. Please be safe. Please drive safe. Please party safe. You know, you have college to go to, you have future job to go to, but I do want to wish them the best in the future. And also, just a shout out, class of 2022, all of them are graduating this year, especially my daughter is graduating this Saturday, so I will not be at the graduation. I'll be in Chicago celebrating my daughter's graduation from U Chicago. So definitely I am extremely proud of all the students, and even all the ones that has graduated, past boxers. They continue to be successful and keep doing a great job and putting our names out there, especially for Brockton, that we are the best and we continue to be the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Tony, go ahead.
One major announcement. I just want to let everybody know that the basketball courts at the Davis has opened up for the members. We're just waiting on somebody to confirm his presence, and through the principal, we'll be scheduling a ribbon cutting. They have a tentative date, but I don't want to put it out there. They just want to work around somebody's schedule, and everybody will be invited, elected officials, up into including the state representative that got some earmarks to make that happen. So this was a project that I was lobbying for before I came on the committee, and just to see it happen, it's monumental. The mayor, you were there last week and seeing it.
Nice, real nice.
It's a beautiful thing. It's not, it's 90% done, but the kids are able out there to play. I always, I'm driving by, I'll just drive back there just to see the kids actually playing. So it shows how there's a void when it comes to getting facilities for our students. It's not just the Davis. This is one of the biggest things that with our facilities, to identify every school in this city to make sure that we have facilities support our students, because a lot of kids, oh, we don't have nothing to do, just take a drive there and see the kids that are playing basketball on a brand-new basketball court. Thank you.
Mr. Pina.
I was waiting for the fellow member from Ward 4 to mention his basketball courts, but I think there's something a little bit more important to mention in that process that I learned about. A lot of people think that they might see us argue here, and I hope that they understand that when the cameras are off, I more than happily talk to everybody. I think we're all pretty cordial to each other, and we joke and have fun. But we're all passionate about the things that we care about. But what I want to bring up is that project came in under budget ahead of time, and it was a collaboration between the school facility and the state, in the city. I guess what I want to point out is the fact that I hear from constituents all the time that a high school project can never happen because it'll be over budget, it'll be over time, it'll be a disaster. But even though it's a small project and it's just the basketball courts, they're a set of 3, they're really nice, they're going to be lit up. I just want to make sure that we can show and say, hey, we worked together, we came in under budget, and I think we did a great job in doing so. And when I say we, I'm just saying, obviously I didn't have anything to do with it, but we as a city. Thank you.
I agree. Thank you to Ken Thompson and his team, Pat Hill and his team, city side, school side. They worked together to make this happen, and I think working together, we can do this across the city.
We're going to build that high school, man, I'm telling you, even if I have to do it myself. Go ahead, Ms. Azak.
Thank you. I do apologize. So we actually start Thursday, June 4th, with the Promise College and Career Academy graduation. That's going to be at South Middle School. So they're going to start the graduations. So that's going to be Thursday, and then Friday we have another group of graduations, and Saturday.
What time is the Thursday one?
It's at 5 o'clock at South Middle School for Promise College and Career Academy. And then the other ones start at 5 at Brockton High School. And then on Saturday, it starts at 11. Superintendent, so I know, I always feel bad because we always see a lot of parents or family members coming in with the balloons and stuff, and then they have to put them on the fence. So do we have the do's and don'ts for graduation day that we can actually put, just as a reminder? Because a lot of times people are bringing things in that you just can't bring into the graduation, so they end up having to put them outside. Just so, but we'll have, if they can share that again, we'll be happy to share that on social media. Thank you.
Great. Anyone else? I guess we still have an executive session. Oh, Jesus.
So Roman numeral 9 is executive session.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, I have to make one more announcement.
Go ahead.
I was reminded. I want to congratulate my daughter Madison Pina for graduating. She's a part of class of 2026. So I just wanted to make sure that I said congratulations to her on the record.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Go ahead, ma'am.
Roman numeral 9, executive session. We have 2 items pursuant to MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, is to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares, litigation update, and food service bargaining update. The second item is pursuant to MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21-7, to comply with or act under the authority of any general or special law or federal grant in aid requirements, open meeting law, general law, Chapter 30A, 22FG, for the purpose of reviewing, approving, and/or releasing executive session minutes.
Can I get a motion that we go into executive session?
Motion to go into executive session as stated.
Second.
A motion has been properly made and second. Ms. Centeo?
Yes.
Ms. Oliver?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Azak?
Yes.
Mr. Pina?
Yes.
Mr. Gomes? I think he fell asleep.
The Gomes.
Mr.
said
Sullivan?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, a motion carries. So for the public that are watching us at home, this will basically conclude the live session of our meeting. We will not be returning from executive session. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Congratulations.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Seconded.
All those in favor of adjournment?
Drone team, they won.
Aye.
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 Having
And
no further
congratulate our
business
drone team.
for the
They won the
children and the
championship.
people of the city of Brockton, this meeting is adjourned.